Saina, come back after the injury. You thought so soon, so much, so good.
Always, I had that kind of belief that definitely I can come back and do well, but it was my first experience of having that surgery, so I didn't know how much time will it take for me to come out of it and how will be the future. Actually, when I started playing as well, I never thought I would reach this level so far or would achieve so much in my life. So everything is just like, you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So I just took it like that, and I just wanted to focus on each day and how to get my strengthening going on well, and then on-court workout. And of course, everything went on fine. And now if I look back at it, I feel a little bit of, it's like an experience. And I'm sure most of the players go through it. And I fought through it, and I came out as a winner, so I'm happy about it, and I'm enjoying this moment now, winning some matches.
Congratulations again. Yes, brilliant. I mean, Gopi, so when your two diamonds play, what do? They were playing the Commonwealth, and there's an afterthought to that question, because I know you will say, oh, I don't watch and stuff like that. Very Gopichand kind of answer. Now, one wins, one loses. That's sport for you. How do you deal with the win for one, and how do you console the other? And they are together when both are being asked by photographers to pose for photographs. So one has to smile.
Well, I think although it might sound different or strange, this is something which happens on a daily basis at the academy or since the time I've been coaching, whether it's young kids who are 13 and 14 playing against each other, or the men's or the women's singles or doubles. It happens much more often than you think it does. It happens almost every day. So I'm prepared for these situations where two of my own students play against each other. One has to lose, one has to win. But the fact is that the winner cannot be satisfied for having won, and the loser cannot lose the confidence for having lost. So I think it's very important that each one has to try and push the bar up, so that in the pursuit of becoming better and better than the other, they beat and reach a higher benchmark. So for me, say an example I would give is a Kashyap would come, and I talk to him saying that what have you played against, say, a Cyril who is a 19-year-old, and I say, you should have thrashed him because he's a 19-year-old, and how can you just beat him barely? And then he goes off, and as Cyril comes and I say, what are you doing? And since you're losing to a 30-year-old, and so can't you do better than this? In the sense, will you forever lose to him? And I hope that they don't exchange notes later. Because for me, I think the senior needs to be challenged by the junior, and the junior needs to respect the senior, and that's fundamental in the growth of sport. I think it's very, very important. So when it is Saina and Sindhu playing also, it's the same. I think each one has to push the bar higher for themselves, and if the other person helps them in raising the bar, it's good for me, because in trying to beat each other, if they beat the rest of the world, that's the best thing that can happen.
Wow. If you actually go, how many of you have been to the Gopichand Academy in Hyderabad? I don't know. There are some hands up, yeah, for sure. If you actually go up, and in front of you there are 6 or 7 people practicing. Saina Nehwal, P.V Sindhu, Kidambi Shrikant, Sai Praneeth, Pranoy, Samir, all the names in the top 10 or the top 20 of a world sport. It is the temple of excellence in Indian sport with Gopi as the chief priest. That's what he has given to India. And what you just said is happening, Gopi. The junior is challenging the senior, and there is immense respect. So it's actually your dream is coming true. So Sindhu, when you play Saina, any extra motivation to challenge her more, to beat her more, or is it just another game?
I think definitely yes. When it comes to on-court, the challenge should be there for anybody, for me, towards her, or from her side too. So when it comes to the game, I think everybody would have that aggressiveness to give their best and win that match. It's not something that respect at that moment, but off-court definitely yes. And I think when it comes to a match, I think it's one of the matches there.
Excellent. See, the attitude is what makes these two champions so special for Indian sport. Saina, when you see someone like a PV Sindhu rise up in the rankings, win Super Series after Super Series, it's part of a legacy that you have scripted yourself. I mean, you started in 2008 when you did Beijing against Maria Christine Julianti in the quarterfinals. And that was the first time that we had a taste of an Indian woman making it to an Olympic quarters. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Gopi set up his academy in 2004 in Hyderabad. Between 2004 and 2008, including myself, not a single media person entered that academy for an interview. Not one. Now, every day, there are 200 waiting downstairs for an interview. You can see the number of cameras, including my own. So that's the difference. That's the difference. And that's the difference that has been brought about by Saina and Sindhu among, as front runners. So Saina, coming to the question, when you see that kind of a rise, does it sort of motivate you more? That, someone from my ilk, from my city, from my state, from my coach, from my stable doing so well?
I think one positive attitude which I always had is that I wanted to win. I want to win and I want to win. That's it. It's about if Sindhu plays well, she's doing well for herself, she's reaching at number 3 in the ranking, or Srikanth reached world number 1. So it's all positive sign that badminton is doing well in India. But that doesn't mean that you'll stop yourself from achieving what you're, what you want to do actually. So that's the only thing. What I want to do is win, and let us see what is next for me. You never know. Life can change at any moment. According to me, in last 1.5 years, I can see a lot of things have changed for me, and there are a lot of positive things which I look forward to. So, and there are already so many things going in my mind, and I irritate my father, Gopi sir, about it, that I don't have any other things to think about, but just about my matches, whom I play against, and this, of course, he says if I do any kind of strategy, he says leave it, you can't do it. So Gopi sir says you should go in the matches without any strategy. So that is the only thing I hear every day, and good training and good sleep, good rest, that's all. And it's about just performing and doing well, and I'm sure all the other players are doing extremely well, so that definitely gives me the motivation to compete and get back and do well.
Gopi, is this a revolution? I mean, will you call it a revolution, or you will say, okay, I want more titles to be able to call it a revolution?
I would think I would want more titles to call it a revolution.
Demanding coach. Okay, you've given us world number 1, you've given us Olympic silver, you've given us Olympic bronze, you've given us Commonwealth gold and silver. Is 2020 going to be the change in color? Do you think that's possible?
Definitely. I think we will have a changed color for sure, and multiple medals also for sure.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Sindhu, when you approach a big match, and this is a question that I'm going to ask both of you. When you approach a big match, you're playing a final against Okuhara or Yamaguchi or Marin or whoever, 17 all, and you turn back, Gopi is there. Turn back, Gopi is not there. What's the difference? Question? Simple. You said don't ask me tricky questions. I'm not asking you tricky questions.
This is tricky. This is tricky.
Okay. Simple. Let's rephrase it. What does Gopi mean to both of you in a critical encounter? What does he bring to the table at that point in time? 17 all deciding game.
I think we blindly believe him. That's the only thing we can do because for me, I think with every player it's a different way of, so for me, especially when it's like 17 all or 20 all or 19 all, it's just that whatever he says, I just believe that. And sometimes I think, no, maybe I should do something else, but then again I question myself, no, if I do that maybe I will not get a point, so I'll shut my mouth and just believe what he says.
Saina?
So basically you require someone who is giving you that advice in tough matches, and as I told you that before the match is always like you just go and play. I'm there to help you in crucial situations, and I'm always looking at him when it is like 17 all, 18 all, and he's like play. So when it comes to 2019, and the thing which he says is always been worked till now for me for sure. And in fact, in the Commonwealth Games, that was the first time I saw him getting so tensed in the match with Christy. I actually have never seen him, being on the edge of the chair almost, and he's like, "What are you doing?" Actually, it was a very, I could feel it was going very easily, but suddenly it changed so much in the second game that she started retrieving everything, and Gopi sir was like, "Do this, do that." In the whole third game, non-stop, I think from first point to 21st point, that was the first time he gave the advice throughout that third game. Otherwise, just the last 2 points always.
She's giving out a little bit on Gopi. Let me give out a little bit on Saina. Saina was playing this Isle of Man girl, and she had thrashed this girl 21-3. Right, Gopi? He revealed the story. Quote unquote, Pullela Gopichand. And this girl had an ankle injury, and Gopi said to Saina, ankle injury, let's sort of loosen it up a bit. And she was like, nope. Then she has to give up. So that's Saina Nehwal as well for you. So these are super champions, but Gopi, most importantly, they have won Super Series titles, World Championships, Olympic medals, Commonwealth medals, all medals. What is it that you actually, when you ask yourself at the end of the day, stand in front of the mirror, that you contribute to these two now, what will you tell yourself? Because I know you have a great story. When I asked you this question the other day, and can you tell my audience that story about, in a critical juncture, what you contribute to these people and to Srikanth and the others?
Well, for me, each of these, and when I said about the diamonds, they truly are, because when I look at a Saina, I haven't seen anybody generate that amount of hormones while playing. To be able to pump your fist on point number one and to continue to do that for an hour and a half with that intensity is not normal, because I've seen men fizzle out 5-6 points into it when they push their adrenaline, and that's it. They go flat after that, and they don't have the fizz again, as they say. But she can keep going on and on and on, and day after day she can go, and week after week she can go. That's what the ability she has. For a Sindhu was one of the greatest workhorses you can have, in the sense, in terms of, we would come back at 11:30 in the night, and I'm saying 4 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't till now had her even an iota of doubt in the way she has handled that. Imagine we were at the Olympics, and before the Olympics I asked her, give your phone, and that's all I said. And I would normally, even if I ask any kid to give something, they would say one time, later, one call, that kind of a thing. And there was she handed the phone over, and that's it, no questions asked. So I've never had her ask me another question.
Hello. Questions were asked in the evening in her own mind. She will tell us that story.
But for me, I think they're so smart that they don't let me know that there is a doubt in their mind.
That's the best part. Sindhu, what happened in the evening, please? After the phone was taken, what happens when you go back home, please, for my audience? No holds barred.
Nothing happened actually. What Gopi sir said was right. He asked my phone, and that day morning, we just, after Australia, there was an Australian tournament, and then we came back, and there was almost like 2.5 months, and that is when he was like, I want you to write what mistakes you think, and he just wrote some points, and that phone was one of the point, and about diet. And I just gave my phone, and after that it's basically like I wanted to achieve something in my life. That was my dream. So for that dream to come true, I can do anything. So I've just sacrificed. I don't say it as sacrifice, but I can just say that, when I wanted to achieve something, it was just that I can do anything for that.
So to what extent will you go? You will take 2 phones away again during Tokyo 2020 or Jakarta of both these girls? Their endorsement people will now go after you, trust me.
See, now everything looks funny and different. Huh? Now, 2006, Saina was a vegetarian. We went to China to eat, to actually train there. And we went there, and it was Chinese New Year. So no veg food was available. So there were like 10 kinds of non-veg on the table, and I said eat. And the first time she just picked up whatever I gave her and she ate. And there was all kinds of meat there. She did that. That is the first time ever she touched non-veg. So it's like I've gone to their rooms, raided refrigerators to check whether the chocolates were there, took away their phones there. They had their laptops, they were watching television, watching videos, took them away. So when they're young, you've done those things, but today they know what it means. They are hungry, and now it's sometimes that you need to stop them from overdoing it rather than actually pushing them to do it, because they're so super motivated. All you need to do is just ask them to just get back, relax, and then do other things in life comfortably so that their performances will come for sure.
So behind that smile is a pretty dangerous man. And this was a conversation just a week back in Gopi's academy, and I asked him this, 17 all, a champion player. They know how to play badminton, right? Of course they do. They won 200 medals each. What do you do? What is the thing that you... And he said, you know what? At that point in time, they are in that zone. Their mind is numb. All I want to do is channelize that ability to winning. And goodness gracious me, thank you very much that India has a Pullela Gopichand. I mean, all what he said is fine. Phone and whatever, and Saina's ability, he mentions that about Saina all the time, and Sindhu's ability to come and train at 4:30 in the morning. But Sindhu comes and trains at 4:30 in the morning with who? With Gopi. So from 3rd of January, he keeps talking about people eating whatever. From 3rd of January, right, Gopi? 3rd of January, not a granule of sugar? In fact, where is Ruchika? You've made a big blunder. I had asked Ruchika to get a 70% dark chocolate, which I will get one of the children to come on stage and give to Gopi. This is a celebration. For some reason, he managed to grab that chocolate and put it in his pocket. He's now not willing to give it back to me. So with me, he started the phone syndrome as well. Okay, final round of questioning. Couple more rounds before I open it up. Sindhu, this kind of routine, I mean, Commonwealth Games, you all come back, and then 3 days later an Asian Championship, 10 days later a Thomas Schuber Cup, and then it keeps going and going and going. Do you all actually have time to settle down and train with Gopi and rectify mistakes? And how difficult is it on the body?
Definitely a difficult part, because I think you need to keep yourself fit and strong. And I think if you can see, I mean, we've been traveling a lot, and this year has been like very hectic. And immediately after the Commonwealth Games, we had the ABC, and then we have Thomas and Uber Cup, and after that we have some of the Super Series. So I think training part, we have to take care very well, because that is when, you know, injuries are part of life again. So you need to just maintain your fitness, strengthen yourself, and decide what tournaments to play, because you know you are the one. So we normally discuss it with Gopi sir, like which tournaments to play, what not to play, what to play, so that we'll have to give our best in all the tournaments. Definitely yes. You can't just think that, you know, I will take this tournament light. You have to give your 100% in each and every tournament. That's what everybody look for. And I think from my side, definitely we have to pick and choose tournaments and just keep yourself fit and strong and keep going.
Saina, in this room, there are two people. In fact, Gopi also doesn't have that. The two of you have actually seen the tricolour go up in an Olympic stage. Can you describe that? Because we are mortals. We are mortals, and in that sense, when we celebrate you as mortals, maybe you are what, 16 out of a billion people who've been able to do that?
I think it's, of course, we're standing on the podium, but finally it's his medals, I would say. Because it's because of him, I think today me and Sindhu have that medal, and I can see tears in his eyes. When I first won my medal, I was actually seeing him and not the the flag going up, because that was important.
So
for
he
me
embodies
to-
the flag. That's
Definitely.
fine.
He was seeing at the flag, and that's what that was equal for me seeing the flag. But the moment I could see that he was crying there, so I could sense the amount of hard work he's putting in during that time, because Olympics is something which everyone dreams of. It comes once in 4 years, and it's like a huge medal. Everyone wants that medal. When I was a kid, I used to read stories about Milkha Singh just missing it by some fraction of seconds, or PT Usha. It used to be like Olympic medal. My God, how it feels. It feels terrible if you lose like that. So the amount of efforts only we know as sports person, what we go throughout the practice session. It's not easy. It's not only about injuries, but it is about a lot of discomfort. It's about you have to be regular every day with the same kind of routine. Some days you're like, oh, we can't do it, but you have to push yourself. You have to give 8 hours to 7 to 8 hours every day, which is very challenging. And he gives, I think, more than 16 to 17 hours. So that's, I think, even more challenging. I think his family is also there because of him in the academy full time, because he never goes home. So it's all the efforts finally it showed up in the Olympics with those medals. And I think at that moment definitely it's about medal and the flag going up and the feelings there. But definitely after that, in some time, we recollect all those things which we all did in the last, not 4 years now, but from the time we started. So it's very, very precious moments.
Actually, Saina, spot on. In fact, Gopi's mother almost runs the academy as perhaps the admin head. I don't know what Lakshmi does to be able to cope up with this man. But if there is a first family of Indian sport in that sense, it has to be that family. Sindhu, she mentioned looking at Gopi during 2012 London, and I was there. 2016, he was viciously waving at you to try and tell you to do something with the medal and drape the tricolour, if I remember right. What was he trying to do? And then I will come to him for an answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually people asked me to buy the medal, but he said, no, she'll kiss the medal. So, and yeah, definitely standing on the podium, as Saina said, you're almost like on cloud nine, I can say, and the flag flying high there, and you're having tears in your eyes. And at that point, I had nothing in my mind. I was just looking at Gopi sir, and there were pictures clicking. Everybody was clicking pictures and everything. But at that point of time, I think I thought I've achieved, which I've never thought, and that was a dream which has come true. That's what was going in my mind.
Gopi, 2000, you were one of the favorites. I mean, All England happened, Sydney. Just to recount the story for my audience. Unfortunately, the flooring where you are seated now was cement in Sydney, and Gopi wasn't used to. There was no sports science at that point in time. So despite going in as one of the best players in that games, unfortunately he wasn't able to make the podium. Are you living your dream with these girls? Can you elaborate what that meant, and when they win, what it means to you?
Well, for me, I miss the Olympic medal, and for all of us in sport, the Olympic means a lot. And the closest I can get to myself winning the medal is my students winning it. And for me, when I remember Saina in 2011, sometime in October, we had this chat, and I said, for the next few months, and I was very active. Pinky was a chairperson for Hyderabad 10K, and I used to be very active during that period of time, doing a lot of other things. And then I stopped going for all of my meetings, and for almost a year I stopped going for any second show movies which I used to go on a Friday evening. All those were stopped. And then we trained, and luckily, God's grace, we won that medal then. I would still say it's God's grace, because an Olympic medal, you can put all of those things, but you can just get a simple cold or a cough, and then you're done with it. So I think the same in 2016 as well. We really prepared well. I spent every day. I remember with Saina, except for one day in the last 6 months, I didn't travel out anywhere. When she was there, I was there in Hyderabad all the time. And with Sindhu also, it was pretty much the same, because I was paranoid about myself getting injured or getting a cold or a cough. So I was very careful about my health and food. And then God's grace, she won the medal. For us, I think in sport, all of us, that Olympic medal means a lot. And for me, it was also probably a little more because I feel I miss my medal in Sydney. They've both thanked me for their medal. But honestly, I feel so great, so thankful to them for actually being able to live my dream through them. I think for me that is important.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.